Hello, welcome to week 13. How have you all been? So hey, that rhymed, didn't it? I'm really good. I hope you're all really good. So this week, what have I got in Care Bear Corner? I'm going to run out of things soon, so I'll have to find something different. So I've got my Care Bear cushion. I have my biggest Care Bear. Bless him. I did have bigger, but because of space I had to downsize. And I have these that I found in Lidl, which are little Care Bear drinks. They've got like fruit in them. I don't think I'll open them. They'll just stay on my shelf because they're cute. It's so mad. And I've got another one here. Yeah, really cute. So yeah, that's my little Care Bear Corner share with you today. Oh, are you enjoying this weather? It's nice, isn't it? Really nice. So I'm going to close it out a minute. Do you like my hair? My hair's really blonde. It's really blonde. I feel like a princess. I feel back to normal now. I feel back to my old self. Oh, I am sweating now. Do apologise. My glasses keep slipping down, so I'll probably keep pushing them up. Right, let's close it out a minute just so we can talk. So, go and get yourself a drink. I've got juice today. And let's settle down for a chat. So, we're on week 13. How are you guys? Have you all got on okay? So, it's been a positive week for me. Obviously, hubby's home. He is feeling much better. He has passed his kidney stones now, so they are all out and he's no longer in any pain, which is fantastic. I have been more accountable this week. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about. I have been back on my NutriCheck. I've been back logging my meals. So I've been more accountable for what I've been putting in, which I feel better for, knowing, them hidden calories, that they've not all been things that I thought, well, I'll have that and not put it down. So I've known exactly what I've eaten this week, exactly what I've put in. So yeah, that has made me feel better, but I also know that I am sticking to my calories. Just a quick note as well. As you're losing weight, did you know that you are supposed to adjust your calories? So I changed my NutriCheck and adjusted my calories to suit my weight. Now it's come down because obviously your BMI is changing and your calories will be less the less you eat, the more your weight goes down. Sorry, I thought one of the kids were at the door. So yes, that's worth always looking into, because it might be because you've lost weight, you're still eating more calories than you're actually supposed to have.
Hello? I'm doing my video, mate. It's alright. I knew there was somebody there.
So that's worth checking, because I was allowed less calories than I actually thought I needed. I can still see the sun in my eyes, I'm afraid. So yeah, that is worth checking, and because that might be tripping you up somewhere. Suppression has still been brilliant this week. I'm still on the 7.5. I haven't really, whether I'm just getting used to it, I don't know, but I haven't really noticed it wearing off. So that has been fantastic. It's just kept on an even keel all the way to the end, which is what I want. I don't want to feel that. I mean, I know I will at some point, but at the minute I'm quite happy on the 7.5. Like I said, we're on week 13. And I know that some of you advised me not to go up to the 5 milligram too quick, but yeah, this one definitely suits me. Anyway, so what have I been up to this week? It's been quite busy. I've had orders, so I've had a few little orders to complete. I've had some crafty bits I've been doing. My lovely friend brought me a little crochet kit of a giraffe, which I've made. I'll put a picture in and show you that. So I've enjoyed doing that. Just really catching up with the washing and getting ready for our upcoming holiday. Just make sure I've got a few bits and bobs in. you know, like sun cream, all the rest of it, because we're supposed to have quite nice weather. I'm just gonna have a quick drink. Yeah, we're supposed to have quite nice weather the week we go away, so just making sure I've got all the bits and bobs that I need. We've had a prom themed window at Mencap, so it was my job this week to change the window up, so we've gone seaside themed this week, which has been fun. I enjoy doing the window displays for that. But yes, apart from that, I haven't really been up to a lot. Like I've said, I've struggled with pain. If any of you got any hints, I'm on tramadol. That wasn't even touching me. Yesterday was a really, really bad day for pain. I've got like a heat pad which helps a lot with pain. I've got something called spinal stenosis. I don't know whether any of you suffer with it. It's very similar kind of sciatica type pain. I get burning in the lower back, down my legs, into my feet. I get weakness of my left leg, so I can often fall if I've not got something to lean on or grab. You know, that's why when I'm on my walks, I can only do little walks, rest or sit, you know, without having to lean or... But if any of you got any tips, because in this weather, you don't always want a heat pad on you. You know, I find sitting like almost in a fetal position helps. Like, excuse me, when I'm downstairs sitting like crouch forward, excuse me, helps me. But I've not known what to do with myself. Grateful of your tips and hints that might help me just get through this pain a little bit until I go for my nerve ablation in August. I am still waiting for results of my biopsy. Just keep getting told that the results are in my consultant's tray to be seen, and the doctors haven't had them yet. I've asked the doctors about that when I took my blood pressure results in, and they are amazed that they've still not had them. But I can't do any more than that. I've chased the consultant's secretary up, and she said it's just a case of waiting until he reads them and then he passes that information on to my GP, which I don't think is good enough. But I don't know what else I can do. I really don't know. I mean, I had my biopsies in May. We're now in early July. And yeah, so none the wiser. That is easing off a bit. Has been a bit easier. I should imagine I've got nothing left. But so that is a saving grace that I haven't been as heavy. For those of you are watching me that are new here, I have struggled for weeks with heavy menstrual bleeding, basically. If you look back over my blogs, I explain a bit more about that, but I don't want to bore you all again. But it's been ongoing now for weeks and weeks, and I'm fed up with it. I think I need answers. I do appreciate that, you know, they don't know any more than me, but I don't know, it's just like, oh, really, you know, come on. I think I deserve answers now. And a lot of you have said the same in the comment section, that, you know, enough's enough kind of thing. Going on to comments, I can't thank you guys enough. You're all fantastic. You brighten my day. I don't know how to express it anymore, but you really do. You know, your comments, your lovely well wishes, you know, everything, it really makes me smile. So please keep on commenting and being here and sharing my profile to people, because it means the world to me. So the kiddies are fine. They're looking forward to going away and having a break. It's been quite a tough term for them. I think they've had their GCSE choices. That's been hard on them because they've not had what, you know, one of them's not had what they've wanted, the other's okay. But I think this last term's been quite a long one for them, so they're ready, and we're ready for some quality family time. I think I have one more blog after this, and then we'll be on our holiday, but I will still do a little blog. It might not be our usual one, it might not be the sit down, but I might do a bit of footage from a holiday and kind of do a voiceover. And yeah, so I am going to enjoy food while I'm there. I don't know, you know, obviously I don't think I'll be able to eat like I normally would on holiday. You know, when we were on the slimming clubs and stuff, you'd go away and you'd come back with an £8, £10 gain. But I don't think I'm actually physically capable of doing that now, since I've been on the Mounjaro, because I just can't eat the amount of food that I used to. You know, I can eat small meals. We're still having our meal prep size meals. I can eat the small meals and I enjoy those small meals, but I can't eat the volume of food that I used to. So I'll be able to join in with the takeaways, but like when we used to have a pizza or a kebab or something, I could eat one to myself, but now I would never be able to do that. We still, I think I've told you in the past, we still have a pizza night here, but we buy one in, not from a supermarket, not from a takeaway. But I can only eat 3 slices, if that. You know, I can't eat many more, you know, anything else but that, because I just physically can't fit it in. And the thought of because I hate being sick, and the thought of I can't just force myself to eat, because I hate that feeling of feeling sick. It makes my mouth water talking about it. But that's the kind of suppression I get from the Mounjaro, that, you know, it's like that full after Christmas dinner feeling, if that makes sense. So I get, if I eat too much, I get like, it feels like it's stuck, and I hate that feeling. I remember, going off the subject, but I remember going to an all-you-can-eat buffet a couple of years ago with a friend, and it was, you know, Italian, Indian, Chinese, English. Oh my God, we made a pig of ourselves, but I felt so uncomfortable and I felt suffocated, and it was awful. All evening I couldn't shake it. It was a horrible, horrible feeling, and I do not want to feel like that again. You know, so I think I'm quite lucky that way, that I don't like that feeling of feeling massively full. So that goes for me in that respect. So yeah, but going back to holiday, I am gonna have treats. I'm still gonna have an ice cream. I'm still gonna join in with the food that, you know, my family are eating, but I'm just gonna eat what I can and make sensible choices. So there might be a gain, there might be a stay the same, but that is why I chose Mounjaro over bariatric surgery, because I believe that it's more sustainable, that it doesn't stop you having a life. Whereas I think, you know, from what I've seen of people that have had bariatric surgery, you can't eat meals, you can't enjoy holidays, like, you know, if eating on holiday. And I don't want that. I want to be able to, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've not outruled surgery if I ever need it, but I'm just saying that, you know, at the moment, Mounjaro is working for me in that way, that, you know, I can still join in, but I can only eat a small amount of food, which is how I should be, instead of how I was before I was on the Mounjaro, being able to stuff lots of food in my trap. Sorry to be like crude, but, you know, that's how I used to be. Going on to emotional eating, let me just have a sip of my drink. I was definitely an emotional eater. So obviously on the catch up I told you a bit about my childhood and upbringing, and I think when I had a rough day, even when I was an adult caring for my mum, or when things hadn't been good at home, I would turn to food. So for argument's sake, when I cared for my mum in her later years, it was tough because she often was in a lot of pain, or things were tough for her. So she would invariably take it out on other people. So I would leave her house after my shift had finished to get the bus to go home to pick the children up from school. And on the way back, I would nip into the co-op or one of the shops for a treat. And I look back now and I think what a pattern that I was in, because I felt that I had to kind of reward myself. You know, I'd had a bad day, so I had to nip in and get myself whatever I had, crisps or chocolate, and then sit on a bench waiting for my bus thinking, oh, that's over with, but I've got to reward myself because I've had a tough shift. And so invariably I was rewarding myself for a bad day. If I was sad, then I would reward myself with nice food, or, you know, yeah, I think it's easy to get in that trap. And I just wonder if you guys were the same. Are you an emotional eater? Do you use food as comfort? What ways do you eat the wrong kind of foods, or have you in the past? I think it's important to know where you're. I mean, for argument's sake, I think eating before you're due on your period, it's a very known fact that women like to eat or chocolate or crisps or naughty things before they're due on because the hormones change. But I think it's important that we recognise these patterns where we're more tempted into eating the rubbish food, and if we're honest about them, I think that's not so much of a problem. But I think it's when
hold on a minute.
I forgot where I got to, but I think it's important. I think it's when you start to hide these little habits, where you start to hide what you're eating. So if you're secret eating, for argument's sake, like my friend said that she would go to Asda to do a little shop in the evening without the husband and the kids, pick up the shopping, and then she'd sit in the car for 10-15 minutes afterwards, and she would have a couple of pastries to herself or a chocolate bar, and then hide the packets and throw them in the bin before she went home. And I think that's when I personally think there's issues there. I've always been able to talk to my partner about my cravings. I've always been able to talk to him about, I fancy this, but I've got to be good. Or, luckily, I've always been able to have that honest relationship with him. And, I don't think everyone's got that, unfortunately. And I just think it's important that you're honest with yourself. And if you know that you could slide into these, this is like saying like people have said, eating disorders, whether it's that you want to be thin or that you're overeating or whatever, it's important to know that you've got yourself into these patterns. And, I still have moments, I'm not going to lie, where I think, I can't sit and eat a big bag of Doritos anymore, or I can't sit and have a big bar of chocolate anymore. But that's what got me where I am now. I'm under no illusions that that's what I've done in the past, and it's gradually put my weight on over the years. I mean, I was a single parent before I met Lee, so I think some of that may have been loneliness when I was on my own, comfort eating in the evening, boredom maybe, but I think once you have got your head round why you're where you are, then I think that's it, being honest with yourself. And I think being honest with yourself, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of the fact that you know where you're going wrong. I feel like I'm waffling a bit now, but you see what I mean. You know what I mean. That, and I've been there, and it is hard. It is hard admitting it and saying, you know what I've done today? I went to McDonald's and had a breakfast. Or I'm not going to lie, I've been had a chippy tea and I've had tea. That was something else I used to do as a child. That because food wasn't always available, if I went to a friend's house and her mum would say, "Would you want a bacon cob or do you want some chips?" I'd have that, and then I'd go home and have tea as well, because I didn't know whether there was going to be tea at home, because there was no routine in our home. So I had no off switch kind of thing. I could eat and eat and eat, and because I suppose I never knew what was coming next, and that's carried on through to to adulthood. But I do think that talking therapies would probably help. I mean, I did try talking therapies, not about my weight, about my mum and stuff, when my mum passed away, and it wasn't for me. But again, I am lucky that me and my husband are best friends and I can talk to him about anything. So I have been really lucky that way, that he's there, and and yeah. So talk to people. If you feel that you're eating on the sly, or you feel like you're getting in a pattern with your eating, or you're rewarding yourself, or you're under eating even. I mean, that's something that I only do really when I'm stressed or upset and I don't feel like eating because I feel sick. But it can go the other way, that if I'm upset that I can overeat because I think, oh, you know, food will make me feel better. You know, we've all been there, so, you know, we ought to talk more. I think that's really, really important. Anyway, my goodness, that was a waffle. So I hope you're still here. 20 minutes in and I've just waffled about, well, I think what I was trying to say was that, you know, addiction, it's food addiction. I think it's very hard, isn't it? Because you can't live without food. You know, you can live without smoking, you can live without drinking, in the best way. I don't mean it in any horrible way, but you can't live without food. And that is hard, you know, especially for us that have got food addictions or had food addictions. Anyway, after that big waffle, so this week has been better. I felt mentally better because I know I've been better, which makes me feel better, if that makes sense, because I know that what I'm putting in will give better results. So that brings me to week 13's weigh in. So I have lost 2 pounds this week, which I'm really pleased about because I had to stay the same last week and I wasn't upset because that's something else that is different this time. I wasn't upset because I knew that I'd not been majorly bad. I'd just made probably silly decisions last week that sabotaged me a little bit, but I knew I hadn't been ridiculously stupid. I've adjusted my calories, so hopefully that will kick in. And yeah, so £2, that's fantastic. That's what I want to lose every week. If I could, then that is fantastic. I want it to slow down now. I don't want it to come off too quick because I want the skin to go back. I want my bingos to go back, you know, and so I'm really happy. And that brings me to 2 stone 10. So I have another, not far off from a 3 stone, so I really want to get there. Yeah, but I never ever would have dreamt that nearly 3 stone, 13 weeks. It's just madness. So yeah, really pleased with that, and I feel much brighter this week. Apart from the pain, which I've had for years now, so I kind of, you know, I roll with it. So apart from the pain, it's been absolutely fantastic. Hubby's better, the kids are all cool, work's fine. You know, it's been good. It's been a good week and I feel like I'm back. Ready. I'm ready for one more week and then holiday. And yeah, let's see what next week holds. Let's see if I can talk. But yes, thank you for all your lovely comments about my hair. It needs washing, so it's not very bright, but I am so pleased with it. She's done a fantastic job. And I'm hoping that if I get a bit of a tan, then it'll bring my goldenness, me Cinderella hair out a little bit more. I'm going to love you and leave you now because I have probably bored. You're all probably like this in the corner, but that's just me. But I hope it's been useful for you, and you know, in my own little waffly way. And I feel like I've had you. Oh, quickly before I go, I forgot non-scale victories. So I told you about the bum bag that I used to wear when I went on my walks because I didn't like having I wanted something to put my keys in, etc. Now at Christmas I had to hand stitch it because it kept popping open. I took a photo of it on me on Monday when I put it on because I thought I'll take it out with me again, but I need to undo the stitches. But I took a photo to show you all how big it is on me. So I'll put a picture in here, and this is a picture of my bum bag that I stitched on. And how big it is now. I can actually take it off by just dropping it. On the floor. It just slips off me now. So that was fantastic and really cheered me up. Hopefully now I'll undo the stitches and it will be fine. Yeah, so that's my little NSV for this week. Yeah. That blew me away. So I'm actually wearing the one that I brought originally, which was too small for me, which, oh, it's so exciting. I've got a basket that's behind you now that I've got rid of some more clothes. Yeah, all of my like 26s and 28s are all in there. And at the moment I managed to get into size 20 skirt today, which you know, it just blows my mind away. Yeah, so I'm so excited to tell you that. Yeah, so again, wonderful thank you for everyone that's been here. I do have a discount code for MedExpress if you wanted to get a £40 off your first pen. I'll have to tell you that it's off your first pen. So if you fancy giving it a try, which I can't recommend enough, and if you follow some of the girls and boys that I follow, they will say the same, that it's just a game changer, you know. But if you want that code, just drop me an email. I will pop my email in here, down below, down on the screen, down there somewhere, and I will drop you the code. And thank you for all of you that have used it so far. You keep me able to carry on doing this, you know, because it isn't cheap. You know, and if it wasn't for you guys, then, you know, my journey would be a little bit harder. So yes, if you do want that code, that gets you £40 off. I will happily email it you, so just drop me an email and I will do that for you. I also have a Supreva code, which is for 10% off. That is a sugar-free sweetener which you can add to porridges, you can add to oats, you can add to fruit, you can add to coffee, you can add to all sorts. It is beautiful. We have been sprinkling on our iced coffees, which has been really nice. So I will link everything down in my YouTube bio. My collagen's in there, my vitamins are in there, all of the bits and bobs that I use. I will list my heat pad in there that I use as well, because somebody was asking me about that the other day. It is all in there. So yes, I will see you next week for week 14, and then at week 15 we'll be on my holidays. So anyway, take care everyone. I love you lots. Bye bye.